also be elevating your mental state, your emotional state, elevating as in strengthening your mental and emotional states, creating balance and creating a mood that is addictive. It's really in the mood that we become addicted to our exercise. What is one of the quickest ways to bring a state of joy and feelings of inspiration and creation to your life? I appreciate you all for tuning in and sticking around till the end of the video. Now, yes, I'm an exercise enthusiast. I'm not an athlete, or I've never been formally trained as an athlete. However, I have always been, at least since I was a teenager, I always was chasing a dopamine high, even though I didn't quite know that that's what I was doing. I understood from a very young age that when I moved my body very actively, and I got my heart rate up, it gave my entire life an elevation in mood. So I began to see things from a more positive perspective every time I started my day with cardiovascular exercise. Now, that doesn't mean that you have to get on a bike and ride for long miles. It doesn't mean that you have to be super extreme in what you choose to do. You could go for a mellow walk and just have it be a long enough walk to where you feel that your muscles got work done, as we are releasing our neurotransmitters or neuromodulators, dopamine, serotonin, norepinephrine or noradrenaline, all of these things that make us feel fantastic, not just physically. Yes, building muscle makes you feel good because when you're increasing your physical strength, you can't help, it's just a physiological thing, that you would also be elevating your mental state, your emotional state, elevating as in strengthening your mental and emotional states, creating balance and creating a mood that is addictive. It's really in the mood that we become addicted to our exercise. It's the best drug that you could be on, and any athlete will tell you that is true, that is really what brings you back to your physical activity day after day. As an artist, as a creator of all sorts of things, all of my creative energy is influenced by the amount of exercise I'm getting in my life. So if I am in a state where I don't have time to exercise, that's usually an excuse that I make in my mind, I'm going to be more depressed in energy. Not that I am clinically depressed, but my energy levels, my mood, everything will be in a more depressed state. However, when I make exercise my priority first thing in the morning or at some point in the earlier part of the day, it affects every level of my mood, my physical strength, how I feel in all my bodily tissues. Physical exercise is also a pain reliever. Your body produces its own pain-relieving neuromodulators when you exercise, when you build muscle. So if you're dealing with chronic pain, and yes, I am one of those people who has dealt with chronic pain in my life, if I didn't exercise regularly, frequently, and get my heart rate up, I would suffer from severe lower back pain. I even developed a sciatica issue about 2 years ago. I actually could not walk. I could not walk. It was too painful. It was a serious compression of my spinal disc. And riding my bike is what got me through, and meditation and yoga, of course. But for the acute pain, it was all my bike. Getting my heart rate up, getting my blood pumping and my muscles working was what created a natural pain relief for me during severe sciatica. So that is my plug for exercise. Get out there, just take a walk, start small if that's where you're at. We all know who are in the extremes of physical activity that it is absolutely addictive and very healthy for you. So I want to pick up where I left off in the realm of building cardiovascular fitness, for energy, because it increases your energy, for muscle, for strength, for cardio, obviously your heart muscle, your lungs, but also your mental and emotional states, right? So how do we finish a workout? Now I just went for a long ride, probably 2 hours of riding, very intense workout. I pushed myself to my maximum. I start my day very early and all I do is drink coffee. Now that may or may not be good. We all have our benefits and shortcomings to drinking coffee. The benefit being I'm filled with energy. I'm drinking water. Obviously, coffee is made with water. But I'm also creating an acidic state in the body that my body is always trying to mitigate, make it more alkaline. So I'm not condoning the use of coffee, however that is in my daily routine. I do not eat breakfast. Coffee is a natural appetite suppressant for me, and I like that element of it because I like intermittent fasting. So intermittent fasting for me is usually finishing my last meal by 8 p.m., usually nowadays by 7 p.m. And I don't usually eat my first meal until noon or later the next day. Probably 16 to 17 hours of between my last meal the day before and my first meal today. However, I will make an exception when I go out and get a very intense cardiovascular workout. I know that I've just torn muscle. It's how you build muscle, is you have to tear it. And now the repair process is happening. So I've used a lot of whatever free floating sugar, glucose might be in my bloodstream. I have gone to probably using the liver to break down fuel, muscle for fuel. I have plenty of fat on my body, utilizing some fat for fuel. With intermittent fasting, on the days that I'm not super active, then I'm using more fat for fuel. So yes, you have to be active. You have to go into a fasting state, which is after 12 hours of not eating, then you're reaching an intermittent fasted state. A fasted state in general is just 2 hours after you've eaten your last meal. But intermittent fasting is after 12 hours. And sometimes people will fast for an entire day. It's actually quite good for you if you're drinking plenty of water and you're cleansing out all of your organs, detoxifying, removing excess waste from the body, and triggering a complete detoxification. Of fresh, clean water that you are drinking to help create an alkaline state. I am probably deficient in minerals at this moment because it's getting warm outside and I was riding up intense hills. I was sweating, so with your sweat comes detoxification, yes, of toxins in the body, but also minerals and salts. So I need to replace those minerals and salts so that I can maintain my electrolytes and keep my cells healthy. I don't need to eat right now. So what I can do is just add a little salt to my water that I'm drinking. But when I do break my fast today, I like to wait until I can feel my brain needs glucose, right? You can feel that by getting, maybe you get a little lightheaded a little bit, your thinking might not be super sharp. Right now I'm still in that really intense, like I feel great, I don't want to eat, I don't want my energy level to decrease because eating would trigger, you know, the metabolic process, which will probably create some, a little bit of fatigue or a lower energy level. So rather than do that, I'm going to drink water with a little salt in it. And then when I do break my fast, maybe at 11 o'clock, maybe 11:30, I want to wait until I'm hungry. I will choose protein. I will not choose a sugar. After an intense cardiovascular workout, you want to be choosing protein to break your fast. If you can have vegetables with your protein, that is ideal because protein will provide to you the amino acids you need to build muscle. And then if you eat vegetables with your protein, you're going to be getting those replacement minerals and salts that you lost during your sweating or your detoxification while you were working out. So you cannot build muscle without eating protein. So I have just gone on this intense ride. I am going to break my fast with a protein-rich meal, and that could include eggs, which I love. I eat eggs very frequently, and I would throw some greens in there. I have some chard and kale and such. So maybe I would do a scrambled egg kind of thing and throw some quinoa and some greens in there. I like cheese, so I'm going to put some cheese on there. I'm not a vegan or a vegetarian. I do eat meat. But that will be the best thing that I could complete my workout with, is to follow up with a good high protein meal and lots of water. Smoothies bypass a big part of your digestion process. So I don't eat smoothies anymore or drink smoothies anymore. I used to put a bunch of stuff in smoothies, blend them all up with fruit, some orange juice, and then I would wonder why I was hungry because I just ate a bunch of sugar, one with the orange juice, but also I wasn't satiating my palate by chewing. When you drink a smoothie, I know it's full of nutrients, but there's very little, if any, fiber in your smoothie. Because you're blending all of your ingredients up, you're just swallowing all of this nutrients and it's rushing through your digestive system. And a lot of those nutrients are lost. If you have micronutrients, greens, all of the protein powders and things, you actually need fiber in there in order to extract all of that good beneficial stuff. So when you blend it all up into a smoothie, you're pissing away money and you're not giving your body what it needs to extract the minerals, the proteins out of that drink. So if you're going to have a smoothie, that's fine, but add some chia seeds to it or some brewer's yeast, add some psyllium, something that is going to increase the fiber content of that meal, because it's a meal. That will allow for the extraction of the nutrients to their maximum capacity, and we don't want to be, wasting money. And we want to be providing our bodies with the ability to take amino acids or proteins that you're eating and to be able to fully utilize those. Get your mouth working, that is going to get your teeth chewing, because it is with that teeth chewing that the digestive juices begin their work, and you need those. In order to digest properly, research shows that our microbiome, or our gut flora, our gut bacteria, must have fiber in order to fully function properly. Prebiotics like fiber are necessary for a healthy microbiome, a healthy immune system, and the ability to properly ingest food for your full physiological process, muscle building, cellular health, and tissue repair. You can subscribe to the channel. You can like this video.